Why is it that a street artist with just a few cans of paint can create more differentiation in 5 hours than most banks can create in 5 years? Everywhere we look here in Wynwood, Miami district, you see originality, you see identity, you see boldness. Every wall says, this is who I am. This is what I represent. This is what I want to share. Now imagine walking through the banking industry the same way. Would you say instantly that you know what any bank stands for? Would anything feel distinctive, unique, personalized? Or does it all blend together into a safe, predictable, beige blur? Maybe it's blue, maybe it's green, but there's such a sameness about everything. Today, in one of the most creative neighborhoods in the world, let's talk about why banking has become so creatively risk-adverse and what needs to change if we want to stand out in a world with so much noise, so much sameness. Let's be honest, most banks look, sound, and act the same. Same colors, same promises, same processes, and same digital experiences to do well, but not to offend, not to confuse, and unfortunately, not to inspire. Somewhere along the line, the industry started treating standing out as a big risk. Why do we just avoid creativity? When we've done that, we've avoided evolution. We've avoided a form of innovation. And the cost is real. When brands blend together, price and convenience become the only thing left to compete on. And that's not differentiation. That is a race to the bottom that most organizations don't even realize is happening. What makes Wynwood so powerful is that it wasn't always like this. Before the murals, before the color, before the crowds, Wynwood was a forgotten warehouse district. Old textile warehouses, shuttered storefronts, blocks that most people avoided. It was quiet, it was aging, it was ordinary, very much like much of our industry. But then the artists came, not with corporate budgets, not with committees, but with courage. They saw blank white walls where others saw decay. They imagined the possibility where others saw limitations. And that mindset, the belief that you can transform something simply by daring to be different, is what turned Wynwood from an overlooked neighborhood into the most creative destinations in the world. You can literally see the evolution on these walls. These weren't the same 12 months ago. Layers over layers, risk taken, ideas tested, features made public, and new voices rising over the old. Wynwood is creativity in motion, where things change every time I come down here. But in banking, we've worked hard to smooth out every edge. We've avoided those risks. We've kept everything relatively predictable. We tell ourselves customers want safe. We tell ourselves they don't want bold. You know the truth? They simply tolerate what we give them. Fintechs, meanwhile, are doing what early Wynwood artists did. They express a point of view. They don't wait for permission. They take creative swings out of the park. Here in Wynwood, blending in is a failure. In banking, blending in had become a common activity. It's become a plan. So what is this lack of creativity costing us? We've commoditized everything. When every bank looks the same, price is the only differentiator. Secondly, we've bored customers into the arms of fintechs that at least feel alive. Third, we've convinced ourselves that being boring is what customers want. But look at the brands that people actually love. Apple, Nike, Patagonia, Lego, and others. They don't chase everyone. They stand for something. And that brings me to a personal story. A few years ago, I went into an Apple store on launch day, not because I needed a new phone, but because I wanted to watch the energy within the store. People were everywhere, not just Apple people, but people wanting to see, feel, and buy. Not for a banking product, not for a mortgage, not for a checking account, for a rectangular piece of glass that looked almost identical to the one we already had. But here's the key. It felt different. The box, the lighting, maybe the colors, the photography, the story they told about what this phone can do. Now compare that to opening another mobile banking account or another mobile banking app. While they may perform really well, they all look the same. Same layout, same safe buttons, same corporate blue or green color palette. Meanwhile, Apple turned a routine device into an emotional experience. Creativity didn't just make them distinctive, it made them unforgettable. Banking rarely embraces this. How do we do that in a world where things are possible? Anyone who knows me knows this. I love street art. Wherever I travel, I seek art out to see how it differs from region to region. Not because it's pretty, but because it represents something banking at some point had. The courage to evolve publicly, to take risks, to embrace color, either in actual transparent color or in the sense of color, contrast, and have personality. Street art is bold, it's opinionated, it's sometimes political, it's unmistakable. Every mural here in this area reminds me that creativity is not decoration, it's identity. And that's something that our industry needs to rediscover. So here's the challenge for every bank, every solution provider, actually every business, even outside of banking. What is your mural? What are you building, designing, saying, or standing for that makes people stop, look, and feel something? Customers don't want to choose boring. As I said, all they do is tolerate it. They want to choose bold. They want to choose memorable. They choose brands who know who they are. The future won't reward the safest banks. It will reward the most distinctive ones. So what will you create that no one else in banking dares to? How will you stand out? How will you be different? How will you embrace change, take risks, and disrupt yourself? So sometimes you just luck into things. I'm real fortunate to have an artist here that we just met while we were shooting the video, Louis Marous,
aka Style.
and this is one of his works. And so, Louis, you came from this area. You were here when Wynwood Walls wasn't Wynwood Walls,
Correct.
and where the whole area was and a different name in a different area. So creativity, we're talking about creativity and the need for all industries, including banking, to become more creative, to think outside the box. What made you create this mural here?
The love of painting, the freedom of expression on a wall this big.
So what is different between this piece of art and the other piece of art you've done in the area? Because you've done quite a few pieces in the area.
We got a few pieces running. This piece was, like I said, it was a time restraint. It was something nostalgic to my youth. And I just said, it'll bring cheer to the school on the other side of this wall.
Pretty cool. And you've seen the area completely change from an artist perspective. And every year you have Art Bezos.
Correct.
And every year artists come from all over the country, all over the world, to put their things on the walls. And actually, in many cases, covering up what was there before. How hard is it to continually transform and evolve and to see walls that once were what you believed in change? Or is that part of the whole mentality?
To me, that's part of the beauty of it. And that's what brings them here, to see the changes, to see, as an artist personally, to see your evolution and growth with your skill. But to meet other artists that you might not have the chance to meet, because I can't travel to Germany, I can't travel around the world, but to have them come here to my backyard and be a part of it, I'm humbled sometimes to be able to meet these guys, sit down, have a coffee, talk about the walls, talk about the area. And they have those same questions. How have things changed? And the quickest answer I could give them is, you're here.
You know, it's interesting because as you walk down the streets, 20 square blocks of art. I mean, it's overwhelming. We just showed a little part of it during my video, but you look and you probably can identify some of the artists simply by the style they have, the colors they use. Whether or not they use cans or they use spray brushes, whatever it may be. What would be your recommendation to banks that all look and feel the same and are trying to be safe as part of their mantra? But you don't have to be safe when it comes to creativity, do you?
No, you don't. You don't. Sometimes you have to take that risk. You have to step over the edge and say, it's either going to go or it's not, but I'm willing to try. I'm willing to invest. I'm willing to make an effort. I'm willing to see what the prizes are at the end with minimal effort out here. There's a lot to work with. There's a lot of empty lots. There's a lot of growth. And I welcome that growth.
There's old murals that time to replace them.
Time to replace them.
And rebrand.
And when you invest and put a new structure in, invite us over. We'll be more than happy to put our art up. It isn't a matter of what we take away from it. It's also a matter of what we give back to our community.
It's emotional. I mean, I've been to Brooklyn, I've been to Sao Paulo, I've been to Paris, I've been all over the world, and every place I seek out this type of art because every place is going to be different. Some are very political. When I went to Budapest, it's a lot of political statements there because the government and everything else. But people can do that. They can tag, they can put up plaster, they can carpet things everywhere. But it's interesting because while there's noise everywhere in a good way, you can distinctively look and see differences. And for banking, in a world that we all try to fit in the same, we got to get away from greens and blues, got to get away from what's normal, got to go beyond just a good app to be a great experience, to make you feel good. That's why we go to Apple. That's why we go to Patagonia. That's why we go to Disney, because they brand themselves in such a way, it makes us happy. This is my happy place. Wynwood Wallace is my happy place.
It's one of the, if you ask me, in the country, one of the biggest outdoor galleries
It is.
for arts.
Yeah.
You come here and you could have my work, a Lewis Barrows, alongside with a Scharf, alongside with an MSG crew wall, alongside with the Dam crew, alongside with a Didi, a Tatiana, a Quake. Like, these are all artists that have made names for themselves. A Pixel Pancho around the world, MTL's
It's emotional.
and we're here. And it's a society of people that work together with the same interest of just beautifying our area.
Louis, thank you very much. What a great moment to have you stop in your truck, say, hey, do you want to know a little bit about what I do? And we did. And this really fits into what we've been talking about. So thank you so much.
No, you're welcome.
Appreciate it.
It's always a pleasure to meet new people that come out to my city.
Thank you.
Thank you.